Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wondered what the very first signs of pregnancy are? Like the super early ones? Well, today we're going to dive into all the little clues your body sends out, and it all starts with this one key step called implantation.
So, how does your body even signal pregnancy, especially before a missed period? We all think of a missed period as the big classic sign, but your body can actually start dropping these little hints just a couple of weeks after conception. So, let's get into it and figure out what those signals are and what they actually mean.
Okay, first things first. To really get a handle on these early signs, we've got to go back to square one. We need to talk about the one biological event that truly kicks this whole journey off: implantation.
So what is implantation? Well, it's the process where a fertilized egg, which is now officially an embryo, makes this big journey and actually attaches itself to the wall of the uterus. It kind of burrows in. This is the moment, right here, that a potential pregnancy becomes physically real inside the body.
And you know what's wild? This whole thing happens super fast. You're looking at ovulation around week 2, then fertilization, and then boom, by week 3 or 4, implantation happens. We're talking just 6 to 7 days after fertilization. To put that into perspective, this is all going down maybe a whole week before you'd even expect your period.
All right, so now that we know what implantation is, let's talk about the first physical signs. These are like the first little whispers your body might send your way, and they're caused directly by that little embryo making itself at home.
Okay, so one of the very first things you might feel is cramping. But it's a really specific kind of unique type of cramping. It happens because that embryo is literally digging in and attaching itself to the super nutrient-rich lining of your uterus.
So, the big question is, how on earth do you tell this apart from your regular run-of-the-mill period cramps? Well, the biggest clue is the timing. Implantation cramping happens about a week before your period is due. Plus, the feeling itself is just different. It's less of an intense, persistent ache and more like a light pulling, maybe a little twitching, or even a needle prick sensation.
Now, what along with that cramping, you might also notice a little bit of spotting. And again, this isn't a period, this is implantation bleeding. And it's happening for the exact same reason. That embryo is burrowing in, and in the process, it might disrupt a few tiny blood vessels in the uterine wall.
And this is super important. This is not a period. The characteristics are totally different. First off, the color is usually light pink or brown, not the bright red you'd expect. The amount? We're talking a few drops, not a real flow. It's usually on and off and only lasts for a day, maybe a day and a half. Honestly, it's so slight that a lot of women don't even notice it happened.
Okay, so once that embryo is all settled in and securely attached, it's like a starting pistol goes off. It triggers this massive hormonal ripple effect. And this is when the signs stop being just about your uterus and start affecting your whole body.
So, a bunch of hormones start to rise, things like estrogen, progesterone, and HCG. And these are really the main players preparing your body for pregnancy. You've probably heard of HCG, right? That's the one that home pregnancy tests are designed to detect. The rising levels of these hormones are pretty much the cause of almost every other early symptom you might feel.
So, symptom number 1, breast tenderness and changes. I mean, this is such a perfect example of how your body just knows what to do. These hormones kick in and immediately start prepping the breasts for breastfeeding down the line. That's why they might feel super sore, tender, or even heavy. And you might even notice the areolas, the area around the nipple, getting a bit darker.
Next up, bloating, gas, and constipation. Fun, right? If you feel bloated before your period, well, pregnancy can take that to a whole new level. It's all because of progesterone. This hormone actually slows down your whole digestive system. The goal is a good one, to make sure you're absorbing as many nutrients as possible for the baby. But yeah, the side effect is all of this.
And what about having to pee all the time? Yep, that can be a sign too. So your blood circulation actually increases a ton during pregnancy to support the baby. That means your kidneys are basically working overtime, filtering all that extra blood. The results? More trips to the bathroom, especially in the middle of the night.
And yeah, the list of other common hormonal signs keeps going. You might get some back pain as your uterus starts to expand. Headaches are super common, again, thanks to that hormone surge. And mood swings? Oh yeah. Those rapid hormonal changes can mess with your brain chemistry, leading to mood swings that can feel a lot like PMS.
Okay, so you've noticed some of these things, the light cramping, the sore breasts, feeling tired, but what do you do next? How do you go from these little clues to actually confirming what's going on? First, it's really, really important to remember this. These early signs are just clues. They're not definitive proof. So many of them,
Cramping, bloating, mood swings can be so easily mistaken for PMS or signs that your period is just around the corner. So think of them as hints, not a diagnosis.
Because at the end of the day, all these little whispers and early clues are leading up to one main event. The single most reliable sign of a potential pregnancy is, and always has been, a missed period.
So what's the path to confirmation? It's actually a pretty simple two-step process. Step 1, wait. You gotta wait for that missed period. Step 2, take a home pregnancy test. By the time your period is officially late, your HCG level should be high enough for a test to give you a really reliable answer.
So, which of these early signs do you find the most surprising? When you really think about it, the whole journey is pretty incredible. From that first moment of fertilization to implantation and then that whole hormonal cascade that follows. It's just amazing. It really makes you appreciate how early and how subtly our bodies start to communicate one of life's biggest and most profound changes.